Hello, class. Welcome to my website. I am Miss Young, and I'm really excited to get to share this with you all. A little bit about me. I am a theater education major with a credential in English, and that is because California is working on creating their theater credential still. So I chose this subject so that it would encompass both theater and English, and we will be focusing on Shakespeare's Macbeth. It's also known as the Scottish play, as many thespians believe that Macbeth is an unlucky word to say, particularly in the theater. Um, so let's get going. This is my home page. I have a picture of myself and a little blurb that tells you more about me, some of the shows I've been in, and then I have the activity that we'll be focusing on. It includes the state standards that we will be hitting with this assignment, and the focus is for grades 9 through 10. Let's see, and then I have my contact information, email, and a direct contact through the website itself. So up here I have what is drama, the what and why. I included a definition of what theater is, and then I chose to elaborate on it a bit to encompass more of the theater aspects. I also talk about why theater is important. I believe that theater not only is a great hobby or single passion for someone, but it can help children or adults, anybody really, on so many levels. It can help with self-confidence, communication, and expression. It is great at putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and learning about different viewpoints. Theater just has a lot of benefits that could help in other academic areas as well. And I've included a video of some Tony Award winners that talk about why they feel theater is important. Moving on to my useful links, I included this glossary of theater terms. This is supposedly the biggest glossary on the web, and it's great if you just are unsure what something means in the theater world. You can look it up here. Like, what is blocking? You go to this website and it will tell you. You can type in your word or you can browse by letter, and it has the definition for you. So I thought that'd be helpful for kids. I also included the Royal Shakespeare Company and some national art galleries and museums. They have some really great theater things as well as Shakespeare in general. Theater, sports, and improv, I've included two websites here that have a list of games with directions to them. They are a really fun part of theater classes, getting to play these theater sports. They can also help in your regular classes as icebreakers for the beginning of the year, getting everybody to be more comfortable with each other in the classroom. So I highly encourage any teacher to check them out. And then I've included some video archives that have plays or different aspects of putting on a show, so like the behind the scenes work or costuming and things like that. And then the professional organizations for theater themselves. Let's see, for digital. For my interactive tools for theater, I found a really silly game called Beat the Bard, and it just puts up different Shakespeare characters against each other. Let's see if we can play around with this. You're playing against the computer here. It's pretty silly. So it gives you a quote and this character Rosalind. So do you think Rosalind would beat out Let Me Play the Lion too? And let's, like, what ability you think that is? Combat ability? Maybe. Let's see. It is combat ability, and this character from Night's Dream got a 6, so we didn't win that round. But it's really silly. It has you reading the quote and then figuring out what trait that is, and then you play against it. It's just a silly game that the kids could get to know Shakespeare characters and the quotes and play. I also have theater flashcards, again, helping with understanding the terms of theater. I found these really neat theater stage tours. They're 3D tours that you could visit. The virtual stage tours are theaters all around the world: Moscow, the Russian Ballet, Carnegie Hall, and then also the Globe Theater. It's a great one for the Shakespeare tour because that is where Shakespeare's plays, the majority of them, happened. I've included some music training because musical theater is a large part of theater, and then a couple videos. This one is an important one, I think, because it talks about the rules of improv that a lot of people might not be aware of if they're not theater people. And so if you want to have those improv games in your class as icebreakers, I encourage you to watch this video. So the next activity I have is internet use or internet safety. And here, just talking about safety online, how parents should monitor their children's activity, and how students and adults should be aware of not posting too much personal information out there. Once it's on the web, it is there. And then I've included some not theater terms, but internet terms such as catfishing and cyberbullying, and how these things are affecting students. I've also included plagiarism, what that is, and then found these useful tools like the plagiarism checker that you can upload your paper to, and it will check it for plagiarism. Night Cite, so that students can cite their sources, and then this Scholar search page. And some videos. Since this is a high school class I'll be working with, I included an SNL skit on plagiarism. It's pretty funny. Excuse me. You should check it out if you are interested. Let's see. For technology for a theater class, I said handheld recorders are great. You can get them like the ones pictured, or even using the memo app on a phone. They really help with memorizing your lines. You can record your lines and listen to them. You can record somebody else's lines, like the line before yours, as a cue. Recorders are really helpful in the theater. And then I found a couple sites that are Shakespeare sites that will help you puts the Shakespeare language in modern terms for you to understand it better. This would be great for students that are struggling readers or learning English. My graphic organizer I created focused on the Macbeth characters. The goal was to identify character traits of the characters in Macbeth and to provide textual evidence to support this. Here we go. This is the worksheet I've created. If they need additional space, I said to use the back, but you've got the character here. And then the traits that you find, also wanted them to include morals that the character may have learned and lessons that they've taught or learned. And again, backing everything up with quotes from the play as well. And I picked the 6 main characters of the play. So that is my graphic organizer. For assessments, the value of assessments, the different types of assessments, I chose to do a quote quiz for the formative assessment. It'll just have a quote, and they have to identify what character would say this quote. It has different options matching multiple choice and true and false. Then they're supposed to take a screenshot of what the outcome of their quiz is, the grade that they were given, and turn it in here so that I could see it. And then the final, the summative assessment, I want the students to create a comic strip that is of the key moments of Macbeth. So they are required to do a minimum of 6 boxes per act. So they really have to pick out which parts of the play move the storyline forward. And once they create it, here are 3 different sites that they could choose to create their comic strips. They could print them out and have them either bound as a book or lay it out as a poster, and we would have a class gallery walk for the presentation. And they have the rubric here that they can follow for the assignment. The choice board was my favorite thing to do. I love some of these ideas. I really hope that I can bring them into my classroom. I chose to do a tic-tac-toe board, so they need to do 3 of these assignments. I also said they could do one additional one for extra credit. Some of the options they have would be to do a virtual locker. This assignment has a online template that they would then pick one of the Macbeth characters, and if that character was in high school, what are 10 items that they would put in their locker using this template. And it can link you to, you can add links so that they can explain why they're putting these things in their locker. They have a diary entry, a timeline for the play. They can turn Macbeth into a musical using Padlet. They should put songs in the order that they would have, and they also need to explain what's happening in the scene and why that song would fit. I've asked them to write a song or a poem, or then for the more theater side of things, they could do a set design or a costume design, and then finally they could act out one of the scenes and record that. The lecture that I have the students listening to is one that I did on Shakespeare play genres, talking mainly about comedy and tragedy, what are aspects of these, and then also his sonnets. In my lecture, I have included audio for them to hear it, as well as like graphs for them to look at and to follow along with these guided notes. There are times in the lecture where I tell them to pause it and take a moment to write down their answers. I have them start out with this quote, "All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players," asking them what do they think Shakespeare meant by this or what it means to them. And then last, we end with having them create their own sonnet. So that is my website. I hope you all enjoyed its tour. Had a lot of fun. Thanks so much.